Apologies, I was muted. I forgot about that. I'll start again, shall I? Welcome to Saturday night stream of episode 2, Smoking Mirror, which you can now see I've changed the GIF. There's now actually just episode 2 now. Basically, I didn't get a chance to do this during the week, so I'm doing it tonight, fitting an extra stream in because I only did 2 during the week this week. I like to do at least 3. What I was saying until when I realised the mic was muted was that the reason why my start screen was a bit longer than normal was because I was sorting myself out a drink. It's a Saturday evening. I've got a nice glass of pint of cider, and as I was pouring it, there was a bit of a splash. Someone splashed myself because on the floor and I had to clean it up, and that's what delayed me. But it's very nice. But it's very, very nice. I don't usually stream on a Saturday, so I've got no idea who will be in or how many people will be in. It's going to be a bit of a mystery. We'll see. But if you are in the chat, feel free to send a message and say hello, or suggestions on what to do in the game, or things like that. Still haven't got the poster cam up and running. I'm working on it. The music sounds quite loud in my headphones. I'll turn my headphones down. I have to. If I want to turn my headphones down, I have for my headphones plugged into a speaker, which is behind my monitor, and there's a knob on the speaker that I can just hold it down, rather than going in the mixer and turning on the sound as well. Sometimes my headphones are louder than they need to be. Yes. So I'm still working on the poster cam. So that is still a work in progress. What I did do today was if Everald comes on at any point, he now has a command. Hashtag exclamation mark Everald if he comes on. I've set that up today. So that's exciting. And it's on my I don't know if it's show up on the camera, but my stream deck here. Look at it there. You can just make it out. I've got autofocus on. I need to check that. While I'm doing this, also, I should just say, I don't have to mention them, but if you want to redeem one of my channel requests, you can. We've got a side clock, which is a snack. We've got keep hydrated. Obviously, I've got a side, but if you want to hydrate, I can have water or whatever, that's fine. We've got the timeout, which you can take time out from the game and just chat for about 5 minutes, which I meant to sort out a timer for, and I've never done. I can't remember that. Override, where you basically decide what I do next in the game. As a choice of not on, because obviously it doesn't apply to this game. But yeah, so there's plenty to choose from. There is eventually going to be one related to the poster cam when that's up and running, and eventually I'm going to do one for when I'm like the stream I did last night with White Phoenix, where he was on my stream playing a game. Where we were using the parsec thing, where you could basically request that Phoenix has control, which is quite interesting to do. So that's going to go on at some point as well. But for now, the snack clock, keep hydrated, timeout, and override are all on there. So feel free to use them. And don't forget as well, in the chat, people don't use them, but there is the battle command, and you can battle your chat points. Have a look at the top 10 while we're on it. Top 10 which I think they're called. I keep changing it. I think the awesome credits. I think what they are. Yeah, awesome points. So I finish at the top. Everald is now 5th. I said, well, he's the most recent joined the channel, all them top 10, and he's 5th already. So that's impressive. And you can put in at any time exclamation mark top 10. But you could those points you can use from a battle and bet those points against the Barbarian. And there's other stuff you can do, duels and stuff. There's all sorts of things you can do. But yes, I was fixing. What was I fixing? Something I was fixing. I lost my train of thought now. What was I fixing? Oh, also, in case people are wondering, is it still the remastered version we're doing? It's just Twitch in the category doesn't have the remastered version as an option. So, go figure. I've forgotten what it was I was going to do something. I've forgotten what it was I was going to fix. I can't remember now. I'm sure it was something I was going to fix, but it escapes me. Oh yes, webcam. It was the autofocus, wasn't it? I remember now. Oops. I must have turned the webcam off. Do apologise. Configure video. Oh, autofocus is off. Huh. So you'd think that would show up, but on the camera, but it's. You just make that up. One of them says Everald at the bottom there. You can't make that right, I don't know. So there you go. Phoenix. Yeah, weird that isn't short. Right, shall we crack on then? Nobody's in chat doing it, so we'll just crack on. I'll have to turn the game sound off, unmute the game, bring the game up. I tell you what I might do as well, because I have a feeling that music's going to be a bit loud. I'm going to reduce the volume of the music a little bit. There we go, look at that. And I've moved the webcam and everything. Although it looks like my webcam's outside the box. I need to fix that. Here goes my desktop. Hang on, we can see that. Yeah, well, I think with Steam Deck, you can see what my Steam Deck looks like. So you can see there, Everald, Hank, Phoenix, top 10, just go to YouTube. Right, I'm going to fix that, because the webcam's sticking outside of the box or something. Sticking out the bottom and I can't do anything about it. That's really annoying. I don't know if I might have to make the actual thing bigger. Right, so I'll go back to talk to in a second. I might have to make the webcam window a bit bigger. Oh, I think that might have fixed it. I think that has fixed it, hasn't it? Oh, except it's not filling the box completely. That's annoying. It looks like that's... Yeah, we're gonna want it. I just can't... Still got the line there, that's really annoying. My webcam used to fit in the box fine, I don't know why it's suddenly... This is really weird. There we go, that'll have to do. Hello, Mr. Phoenix. Hello, sir. How are you this evening? Yeah, my webcam's decided to not fit in the box properly anymore. And I don't know why that is. That's built it. Yeah, it's weird that I've got like a bar. Can you see on that side? I might just have to leave it like that. I don't know if I can fix it. How's that? Oh, that might have to. I've still got the bar. Oh, that'll have to do. That'll have to do. Yeah, it's weird that. Right. Okay, let's bring the game. Yeah, and I still can only get this to come up on display on capture, which is weird as well. Ah, okay, now I see a problem. You can see the game on the webcam, that's not good. That's not good. The webcam higher than game. No, the display capture is below the webcam and look, I'll show you. Display capture, webcam. I don't normally have this problem, this is weird. It's as if the resolution of the webcam's changed, which it shouldn't have. Use the stretch the screen option. What, on the webcam? I don't normally have to do that. No, these doesn't change. Oh, now we've gone full screen. No, it's sticking out a little bit, isn't it? This is really weird. I don't normally have this problem. I think that's fixed it though. Oh no, has it still sticking out on that side? Yeah, it's still sticking out on one side. I don't understand this. It normally fits perfectly. Well, the only thing I can do is make the frame bigger. This is really annoying. You can hold control to stop snapping into place if it's causing issues. It's not snapping into place, it's that the webcam's not fitting the box anymore, which is bizarre. I'll make the webcam box a bit bigger. Oh, now it fits. Look at that. Now it seems to fit. I think. If we bring the game up. No, it's not fitting. It's... Damn it, it's still red in the box. That's no good, is it? It's really irritating. It normally fits perfectly. That's better. It's sticking out the side a little, but it's... This is really annoying. It's set to 1920 by 1080, the resolution hasn't changed. How's that? It's still sticking out. See, this side it's fine, that side it's sticking out. Probably the best we're going to get it. We might have to have a little bit of black on one side. Right, that's probably the best we're going to get for now. We'll just have to live with a little bit of a black mark on one side of the camera. But I don't know why it's doing that. That's really weird. It doesn't normally do that. Also, my webcam looks like it's really stretched now. Yeah, I don't know why it's in that. It looks a bit stretched, isn't it? But let's compare the talk screen camera a second and work it again. Anywho, let's continue with this, shall we? So we were at Quaramonte Market. I put in the stream title, I put Streets of Quaramonte City because I couldn't think of anything that rhymed with Quaramonte or Quaramonte City, so. Right, there we go. It's slightly annoying that the camera's not fit the screen. What have we got? Oh, we've got to, oh, that's right, you've got to go to suitcase.
It was the black obsidian's one side bore a growth, the other was... The guy wasn't showing much enthusiasm selling his wares. It was Nico, wearing clothes I'd never seen before. The guy was selling fish.
Okay.
A couple of musicians stood watching life go on around them. They looked pretty depressed. The woman had an impressive display of gourds. The guy wasn't showing much enthusiasm selling his wares. It was an uninteresting little wooden hut with an armed goon outside it. The guy wasn't... The man was puffing away at a crudely rolled cigar. The old woman was preparing a food that consisted of ground maize and lots of spittle.
Okay.
It looked to me like an early portrait of Orson Welles.
Alright, I've got no idea what I'm supposed to do here. Right, we can do that. Let's go talk to some people, shall we? Oh! That's what you call her, Henderson from the first game, isn't it? Can't remember.
Hey, cheer up,
name.
guys. What's with the long faces?
Our pipe player has been arrested and thrown in jail.
Poor Miguel. He never broke the law in his life.
Why was Miguel put in jail?
For playing folk music.
What?
It's true, senor. He insisted on playing traditional Quaramonte music, even though it's illegal.
Interesting.
Why don't you try playing a tune to cheer yourselves up?
No, we should be looking for real jobs.
We could earn 10 times as much down the mines. My cousin Ramirez was earning 8 pesos an hour.
Okay.
Before he lost his legs in the accident.
Oh dear.
Would either of you guys care for a biscuit?
A dog biscuit, senor?
Are you trying to insult us?
No, really. They're good.
We'll take your word for it.
Tell me about the accident at the mine.
There was an explosion at Teoculcan. 30 miners
Oh,
were
the mining
buried
company
alive.
behind. I just.
They cut some of them out, though.
2 of them, including your cousin, and they left half of him behind.
Have you any idea what this is?
No, senor.
Me neither.
Have you seen anything like...
I, the hungry chief.
Why are you carrying that thing around with you, senor? Don't you know who it is?
No. Do tell me.
He's Tezcatlipoca, god of death and blood.
God, death and blood, nice.
Take a look at the design on this label.
I have seen that before.
Where?
There was a ship flying a flag just like
Interesting.
When did you see this ship?
that 3 months ago. It was here, at the docks.
What was the ship with the condor flag carrying?
I don't know, senor. We weren't allowed near the docks.
Interesting.
That's
Things I
right.
need to check the docks out.
Usually we meet the ships when they tie up.
We play to the tourists.
Well, when the condor ship came in, we were told to go away.
Suggest there was something on the ship that there shouldn't be.
What do you make of this little worm?
No good. It's dead.
Sure it's dead. You think I'd carry it around in my pocket if it wasn't? Do you guys know anything about a total eclipse?
What is it?
It's like when the sun is hidden by the moon.
It's crazy.
My cousin Alfredo swears he saw it happen once. But that was after he stupidly consumed a cocktail of peyote and antibiotics.
The guy was selling fish.
It's going to talk over it.
Do you have crabs?
No, only fish.
Nice fish.
Thanks.
If by some remote chance I ever need a fish, I'll be back. Do you recognize this statue?
Si, senor. It is very, very bad luck. That is Tezcatlipoca, Night Hunter.
I know, but I don't believe in luck, good or bad.
You may not now, but you will.
The guy looked scared out of his wits.
Interesting.
Go away.
Can we talk to him again?
Go away.
No. Is he going to take that? Okay. Do we do anything with the poster?
In Quaramonte, defacing a poster was probably a capital offense.
Probably.
Those things are gourds, aren't they?
Si.
Hey! Mind the footwear, lady.
Okay, I can't talk to her. Okay.
Hi.
You wanna buy something?
No, not really.
I got cabbages. Buy a cabbage, senor.
I don't think so. I didn't come all this way to buy vegetables. Listen, have you heard of Condor Transglobal?
No. Buy a cabbage. I'll give you a discount on bulk purchases.
I'm not into cabbages.
Somehow I don't think this guy's going to be very helpful.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Aye, Tezcatlipoca. Put it away, senor. Tezcatlipoca brings nothing but evil.
The poor guy was so freaked, he didn't even mention his cabbages. See ya. It was an armed guard looking after the barrier.
Talk to the young god.
Welcome to Quaramonte.
Thanks. Can we get a cab to the capital?
This is the capital, Quaramonte City.
When's the next ship out of here?
But senor, don't you like our beautiful country?
Oh yeah, it's like a little piece of paradise right here on Earth.
Then why you wanna leave?
I'm just plain homesick. Like it says in the song.
A word of warning, senor. If you feel like bursting into song, bite your tongue.
Huh?
There are official restrictions on music in Quaramonte.
We've had enough. We're going back to the ship.
Okay. You show me your brown card?
Huh? What brown card is that?
The
What's a
official
brown card?
exit visa.
Look at his face.
How come music is restricted in Quaramonte?
It is part of a great cultural enrichment campaign. Traditional Quaramonte music is considered unsuitable for these fast-moving times. Nuestra Señora has decreed that only one category of music is suitable.
What's that?
Easy listening.
Interesting. Can't talk to any of them, but I can talk to.
The maize and spittle concoction looked gross. Hi. Lovely bread.
¿Qué?
Bread. Pan?
Sí, pan.
Maybe I'll come back later when I'm hungry.
And I just say that fella there.
The man was puffing away at a crudely rolled cigar. Hi there. What have you got for sale?
¿Qué?
I said, what have you got? Oh, never mind. Mrs. Henderson. Boy, this
Yeah,
is some
it's the first
coincidence,
kid.
huh?
When you've been married to a fruitcake like Dwayne as long as I have, you stop believing in coincidence.
I'd met Pearl and Dwayne on the
Pearl,
other
that
side
was
of
it.
the globe in Syria. He was an army veteran who suspected he was working for the CIA, but wasn't sure. She was less obviously deranged. Is Dwayne here with you, Mrs. Henderson?
Why, sure, I couldn't leave him home alone. Since Dwayne came back from the war, we couldn't bear to be apart.
So, where is he now?
We ain't speaking.
Why aren't you speaking to Dwayne?
Because he's an old spoil-sport sourpuss.
Interesting.
I want to visit one of those old pyramid places, but Dwayne says he has to stay in town.
Right. And you don't want to go on your own.
Well, there's no point in going to the pyramid if there's no one around to take my picture.
Is Dwayne still working
Oh, they're
for the
playing now.
CIA?
If he is, he doesn't know it. He's what they call a snooper.
Don't you mean a
Sleeves
sleeper?
there.
No, this is different. He used to think he worked for them, but the psychotherapy cured him of that. What he doesn't realize is that now he really does work for them. At least that's the way I understand it.
What brings you to Quaramonte, Pearl?
What takes me just about anywheres. The market.
You drove 2,000 miles to go shopping?
Shopping is my role in the economy of the great design.
What do you make of this stone, Pearl?
Oh, that's pretty. What's that thing supposed to be, a rabbit?
I believe it's a coyote.
Well, it sure is cute.
I was surprised she didn't ask me where she could buy one. What does this mean to you, Pearl?
What cute little feathers. Why, if you had two of those, they'd sure make nice earrings.
This isn't intended for frivolous personal adornment, Pearl. It's a dart, tipped with a fast-acting, muscle-numbing poison.
Indeed.
Pardon me, I stand corrected, honey.
Sometimes I got the feeling that communication with Pearl was like sending signals out into space. Maybe, if you waited long enough, you'd get an intelligent answer back. But it was a long shot. What do you make of this statue, Pearl?
Whoo-wee, that's a spitting image of Dwayne's brother Sheridan. A little less body hair, maybe, but it's him all right.
Look at this, Pearl. A tequila worm.
Don't you bring that thing anywhere near me, honey. I swear I'll scream like a hog on a hot plate.
Take a look at this news cutting, Pearl.
You'll have to read it to me, George. I left my specs in a gay bar in Santa Barbara.
Well, it's about an eclipse of the sun, which is due to occur in a few weeks' time.
You'd think the government would warn us about these kind of things.
It's not dangerous or anything. Apparently, the best place to view the eclipse is right here in Quaramonte.
Oh, my.
She didn't appear to be the slightest bit interested. Catch you later, Pearl.
You go that way?
It was Pearl's husband,
Oh,
Dwayne.
Dwayne.
Hey, Mr. Anderson. Good to see you again.
Do I know you, son?
George Stobart, remember? In Syria? I sold you a statue.
I remember that. Pearl was mighty vexed when the paint came off.
Look, I'm sorry. I'll give you back the $50.
No, you suckered me fair and square.
Are you still working for... you know who?
You know I can't talk about my work, George. That's between me and Uncle Sam.
Does the name Karzak mean anything to you?
Sounds like a comic book villain to me, son.
Yep.
He's the man behind Condor, and the rat who kidnapped Nico.
You know, the first time I met you, I was deeply impressed with your naive simplicity.
Interesting.
I said to Pearl, if we ever had kids, I would have wanted a boy like George. But I underestimated you, son.
Did you know that traditional music is illegal in Quaramonte?
Is that so? Seems reasonable to me.
No, really. The leader of the band in the square has been in prison just because of the music he played.
I don't know who you've been talking to, but that fella, Miguel, he's an agitator.
What's the real reason the musician was in prison?
Handed out subversive literature
Subversive
at
literature.
the mines. That so-called general was waiting for Miguel when he got back into town. Marched him off to jail at gunpoint on a charge of inciting a riot.
I spoke to Pearl earlier.
Yeah? Did she mention that we had a kind of falling out?
Yes, she did.
She'll get over it.
Fair enough.
Did you drive all the way down here?
Hell no. Pearl did the driving while I followed the maps. The way she handled the wheel, you'd think she'd been trucking half her life.
Why did you bring a huge truck like that?
George, I'm on a top-secret classified mission for Uncle Sam. This truck is a rolling bomb. 400
Okay.
pounds of nitrate fertilizer with a plastique initiator. They'll hear
Might
the
be
bang
good.
in
Do you
China.
just step back a bit, George?
I'm really looking forward to this.
Would you like a biscuit, Dwayne?
Oh no, those gourmet dog snacks bring me out
Yeah.
the rash.
You've tried them?
They were on special offer. Pearl bought a whole crate. When I asked her if she was thinking of keeping a dog too, she just laughed.
Do you know anything about a shipping company called Condor Transglobal?
Sure I do. You have to get up pretty early to catch Dwayne with his pants down.
What? You beat me to it?
Condor Transglobal is all wound up. Seems like my investigations scared them off.
Interesting.
What do you think of these panties, Dwayne?
Lord, hot stuff, George. You buy those for your girl?
No. A guy we knew in Paris bought them for her.
Oh, you're a threesome man.
Look at his
Why
face.
are you looking at me like that?
Forget it.
That was.
He was a friendly-looking guy. Hi, I'm George Stobart. What can you tell me about the mining company?
The general closed down one of their mines after the explosion. Lots of folks lost their lives. I was lucky. I only lost my legs.
Can you tell me anything about this stone?
That's obsidian. It's a volcanic rock which has cooled so fast that...
Yeah, look, I'm not interested in geology.
You're not. I suppose you want to know about the carved picture on it.
That's right.
Then the guy you should talk to is the professor. He was here a while ago.
Do you know what this statue represents?
Should do. I used to carve things like that to sell to
Interesting.
tourists. But it scared people around here, so I stopped.
Do you recognize the design on this label?
Why, sure. That's the Condor Transglobal Shipping Company logo.
Do they have an office in Quaramonte?
No, but they ship out from here.
That's what I thought. Did you see the ship with the Condor flag?
Interesting.
No.
We're not getting very
the
far
document
here
on the
about
other side of the
Condor.
square.
We're not getting much
Might as well
information.
be the other side of the moon.
Have you heard about the eclipse of the sun?
Sure, I'm having a party to celebrate it. Drop by.
Really?
Sure. Plenty of food, plenty of wine, and everyone's invited, except the general.
What do you think of these panties?
Awesome. You wear them?
No. Someone sent them to my girlfriend.
Thoughtful.
Can I go over there? Where does that take us? Talk to Nico. Oh, can we talk to Nico?
You can't leave without it.
Labano tells me he's been seeing a lot of you.
We meet sometimes for lunch, a drink. After you'd gone back to the States, I was pretty lonely, you know.
Lonely? You must have been desperate. Couldn't you just visit the zoo or something? Take a look at this.
Mon Dieu! Where did you get that kind of money?
It's not mine. I found that statement at Ubier's house. Take a look at this.
An eclipse of the sun. Why the sudden interest in astronomy?
I found the cutting in Ubier's house.
Apparently, it's only visible from Central America.
Oh, what a coincidence. That's where we're...
Do you have any theories about this stone?
I think that design represents a dog, a Mexican dog.
So, this is the sacred Chihuahua stone? Sheesh. Would you like a biscuit?
Gourmet dog? Have you been eating those things, Georges?
Sure, they're great. Guess what this is? Go on, guess.
Hot iron, probably from a chimney stack on an old stove.
Yeah,
Well,
spot on.
I suppose it could be.
Spot on.
How did she know that?
My grandfather used to work in a foundry.
Take a look at this, Nico.
That's disgusting, Georges. Why are you carrying it around with you?
I don't know. I just can't seem to part with it. Hey, Nico!
I have done just as I have been instructed, Professor.
Professor? Oh, who's that?
With the mine closed down, there'll be no one around to observe your excavations. I have visitors.
Just remember what I told you, General. There's really no need to make a martyr out of that man.
Oh, hang on, isn't it the general who the guy with no legs wants for? Who is that Professor Blood? Interesting.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, senor. Welcome to Quaramonte.
Thanks. My name's George Stobart from California.
But what is this? An angel come down to earth.
Here we go.
École Collard. Enchanté, mon général.
Smoothie.
Pardon me, senorita, but I couldn't help myself.
Look, we'd like to ask you a few questions.
You've come to the right place, senor. Tourist information. General Graciento, at your service.
This is the tourist office? It says police on the sign outside.
It is both, senor. I am a man of many parts.
Okay,
I
interesting.
can see that, General.
I'll be back.
Oh, poo. Do we need that?
Have you heard of a guy called Karzak?
No, I never heard of him.
Why am I not
I
convinced
hear
by
there
that
was an
answer?
accident at the mine a few months ago.
That's correct.
A lot of men killed, weren't there?
A few.
30?
Barely 1% of the working population.
Is it true there's a restriction on music in Quaramonte?
Yes, there is. An emergency measure introduced by Nuestra Senora.
Folk music is a link with the past for some of these people. Take away their musical roots and what do they got left?
Easy listening.
You think easy listening could replace a musical heritage hundreds of years old?
Why not? It happened in your country.
Are there any ruins around the city?
Of course, senor. Quaramonte has everything.
I have a friend who wants to visit an historical site.
Ronaldo will only be too pleased to conduct a guided tour when he's dealt with today's paperwork, of course.
Who was the guy you were talking to when we arrived?
Professor
Ubier.
A visitor, senor, like yourself.
Ubier.
Did you say Ubier?
Si, senor. Professor Ubier, a French archaeologist.
What's Ubier doing in Quaramonte?
Researching our rich and glorious past, senor. The professor is
That's
planning
who helped me at the
expedition
beginning.
to some Mayan
So he
ruins.
wasn't kidnapped
He
then.
came to see me to get an excavation permit.
We've had enough of Quaramonte and we want out.
Am I stopping you?
The guy at the docks tells me I need an exit visa.
Ask Ronaldo. He'll make the arrangements. That's what he's here for.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
That's a native carving, isn't it? Where did you get it?
We picked it up in the market as a souvenir.
Take a look at this label.
Si, senor. Condor Transglobal.
Yeah.
Can you tell
Yeah.
me where to find their offices?
No, senor. I never heard of them, and neither did Ronaldo.
That was a very quick answer, wasn't it?
Are you sure you never heard of Condor?
Oh, yes.
The company is registered here in
I
Quaramonte
don't believe
City.
him.
You are mistaken, senorita.
The musicians out in the square say that a ship flying the Condor flag was birthed here.
They are simple peasants. They will go along with anything you say in the hopes of parting you from your money.
I don't trust this guy at all.
Condor is run by Karzak, isn't it?
Wrong again, senor. Karzak has nothing to do with anything called Condor, whoever he is.
Do you keep a record of companies registered in Quaramonte?
Of course, senorita. Unfortunately, all the records were destroyed by a flash flood.
That's convenient, isn't it?
Do you know anything about the forthcoming eclipse, General?
Such things do not interest me, senor.
Would you like a biscuit?
Are you trying to bribe me?
Well, every man has his price.
Mine is more than a dog cookie, senor.
Dare I ask him about that?
What do you think of these panties, General?
Oh, boy, fabuloso.
They're yours if you'll tell me all you know about Karzak.
I told you, I
Never heard of the guy. Do I get the panties now? I told you all I know.
You told me nothing.
I'll be back.
What a weird guy.
The television was showing what appeared to be a low-budget soap. A tall man with long blonde hair was shouting at a woman who was naked apart from a towel. I decided to leave the It was a computer monitor with some kind of outdated game displayed on it. A safe was tucked under the desk.
I may think I have to somehow explore this when he's not there.
He had the eyes of a cocker spaniel set in a face like a deflated souffle. I couldn't help wondering what had driven him to work for a man like the General.
What did I do with this computer?
It was General Gracia.
Okay, let's talk to him then. I think do something to get him out there so I can examine the stuff behind him.
Hi, I'm George
If
Stone.
anyone got any suggestions,
Hello,
feel free
senor.
to shout them out in the
How
chat.
can I help you?
I'd like to visit your prisoner.
Condemned prisoners aren't allowed visitors.
Condemned?
To death. He is to be executed. Knowing
Is
my
it?
luck, I will probably have to shoot him myself.
Amnesty International is going to hear about this. I thought Miguel was arrested for playing the wrong kind of music.
Si, senor, he was.
And that carries the death penalty?
No, no, no. You think we're crazy? While being questioned, he confessed to being an anti-government agent.
Are there any ancient pyramids near Quaramonte?
Si, senor. But it's not very impressive. It's in ruins.
That's perfect. Would you be willing to give a guided tour of the ruins?
I can. The General would have a fit if I left all this paperwork.
I'm trying to
Same.
get out of Quaramonte.
If I had $1 for every time I heard that, I'd be able to buy back half my family.
Never mind them. What about my visa?
We don't take visa.
I didn't ask if you take a visa. I want you to give me a visa.
I can't help you, senor. I don't understand these things.
So the General
Would you
lied
like a
when he said he
gourmet
could have
dog
one.
snack biscuit?
I would love one, senor. But I would have a problem with my teeth.
Toothache?
No, senor. If the General catches me eating on duty, he'll knock them out.
Do you recognize this statue?
It's Canticook. The night wind. Take it away,
Interesting.
senor. That stone is
He called it
cursed.
Night Wind. He don't call it the Night. Something else. Night Warrior, whatever it was.
Do you know anything about this eclipse?
No, senor. El General keeps me in the dark about most things.
So long. A gloomy passage. I wasn't going to try investigating the passage. A gloomy path. I didn't have time to get. A couple of special offer letters were strewn across the desk. A filing cabinet stood in the corner.
I feel like I'm missing something here. I feel like I've missed a step.
It was the map which the general had been showing to Professor Ubier.
Can we look at the chart?
Senor. Leave the child alone.
We need to get him out of there, don't we?
Why did you show him the stone?
I thought maybe he might know something about it.
Well, he does now, for sure. He knows we have it.
Did you notice that chart on the police station wall?
Yes. It looked like a map to me, but I couldn't make out the details.
Whatever it was, the general didn't want us to see it. You came on a little strong with the general.
I was merely flattering his ego, Georges. Every man has his Achilles heel.
Maybe. But that guy's weakness isn't in his foot. That man we saw talking to the general was Oubier. Didn't you recognize him?
I never met him, remember? The guy I called in Paris claimed to be Oubier, but he sounded nothing like the man in the police station. Maybe the professor really is innocent.
Nah, it's too much of a coincidence that he's here in Quaramonte. Have you met the guy who calls himself the General?
No, I haven't. Is he a real general?
That's a good question.
So, he wears a lot of medals on his chest.
Good
the
question.
wrong side of his chest. At least for any army I'd ever seen. I hear you drove all the way to Quaramonte. In a truck.
That's right. You would not believe the state of some of those roads. Makes me downright sad to think there's still some places you can't reach in an automobile. In this day and age, you'd think there'd be decent highways just about anywhere folk choose to go.
Did you know that the truck was full of explosives?
Whatever gave you that idea, as if I couldn't guess.
Your husband. He was exaggerating, wasn't he?
Sometimes I wonder how I'm gonna cope with Dwayne's over-fertile imagination.
Catch you later, Pearl. There was nothing else I wanted to
I feel like I'm supposed to do something. I don't know what.
Hey, Nico!
Oh, more people to talk to. Oh, Crash is playing Among Us. Nice.
Hola, señora.
Hi. We were wondering...
I was talking to the lady, Chico.
Oh.
Hi, my name is Nicole Collard.
Concha Garcia. How can I help you, sister?
The corporation I represent is considering a major investment in Quaramonte. Your advice, as the head of an obviously successful concern,
What?
is precisely what I'm after. My assistant, Mr. Stobart, has a few questions he'd like to ask you.
Assistant?
Have you heard of a man named Karzak?
No? Who is he?
He's the reason we came to Quaramonte. We think he's running a drug ring.
Well, I hope you find him, but I've never heard the name before.
Can you tell me about the accident at the mine?
Accident? It was sabotage. Somebody wanted my mine closed down for good.
Do you have any evidence that the mine was sabotaged?
Interesting.
Not yet, but I'll get to the bottom of it. There'd been trouble at that mine for several months. The workforce was getting smaller every day. Someone had started a rumor among the men that the mine was cursed. Now the entire operation has been closed down.
Where's the site of the mine?
Several days upriver at a remote area known as Teoculcan.
Do you know Professor Oubier?
Yes. I understand he is about to embark on an archaeological expedition. He hired some equipment from me earlier today.
I overheard him talking to the general. I think they're working together.
What? If I'd known that, I wouldn't have hired out the equipment. Now, why would the general be interested in an archaeologist?
Interesting question.
Can you tell me anything about this statue?
It is Tezcatlipoca, the god of death and pestilence. That fetish would be considered by many to be a bad omen.
Do you recognize the icon on this label?
Condor Transglobal.
Did the company operate here in Quaramonte?
Yes, they ran an old container ship, the Mayan Princess.
Do you know who owned Condor Transglobal?
Interesting.
I have no idea.
Have you heard about the forthcoming eclipse?
I don't take much interest in things like that. One of the boys might know about it.
Does this stone mean anything to you?
I think it is a spirit stone carved by a Mayan priest, no? I don't know which of their many gods it represents.
Would you like a dog biscuit?
Would you like a smack in the mouth, Chico?
Would you be interested in these panties? They look about your size.
Is that your best line, Chico?
I'm serious. They were an unwanted gift.
Put them away before you get overexcited.
I had nothing else. There was nothing else I wanted. It was one of Conchita's posse of hunks. It was Conchita.
Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to Consolidated Mining. If you are planning to stay in Quaramonte City, may I recommend the Consolidated Mining Experience, an interactive hands-on tour of one of our deepest mines, with talking tour guides available in 3 different languages.
A tour of a mine.
Well, this is a mining company. What else did you expect?
Do you know anything about the eclipse that's due soon?
Me? No, senor.
Do you know where I could find Senor Karzak?
No, senor.
He's what I thought, eh?
A disgustingly handsome man. Are you looking forward to the eclipse of the sun?
Not especially. Are you?
I don't know. I've never seen one. All I know about eclipses is that you shouldn't try to view them with the naked eye.
Please, go away and let me get on with my work.
Ever heard of a guy called Karzak?
Can't you see I'm busy? If I don't finish this stock report, the boss will be mad as hell.
I couldn't understand why the female owner had surrounded herself with men like this. Ever hear of a guy called Karzak?
No, sir.
Did you know there's an eclipse of the sun in a few weeks' time?
Yeah, Joe told me about it. He's having a party and we're all invited. Me and the boys are dressing up as evil monks.
Yeah? Cool. The guy was working away like an automaton. Do you know anything about the eclipse?
Yes, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I heard it's going to be pretty spectacular.
It's in a few weeks' time, isn't it?
9 days.
Thanks. Ever heard of a guy called Karzak?
No.
Well, we found out about not very much from there, have we?
It was a store cupboard.
Keep out of there.
So, I think I spoke to everybody that speaks to
That's where
you.
the explosives are stored.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It was Ubier's bank statement.
Okay. Now I'm confused to what to do now.
There was nothing else I wanted.
Oh, circles down pictures. Done that. Channel. Talk to Ubi, eh? Is Ubi around somewhere?
The man was puffing away at...
Oh, there he is.
It was that suspect archaeologist, Ubier. Professor Ubier?
Yes? Who are you?
My name is Stobart. George Stobart.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about my girlfriend's abduction?
I don't know what you're talking about.
She was invited to your mansion in Paris.
Not by me, she wasn't. I haven't been home for nearly 7 months.
What are you doing in Quaramonte, Professor?
Seeking Mayan artifacts. Central American history has been my life's work.
Does the name Karzak mean anything to you?
Yes, I know him. In fact, if it wasn't for Karzak...
Interesting. Interesting.
He's financing my expedition.
Have you ever employed a Central American butler or servant?
I've never employed any kind of servant, monsieur.
Interesting.
Do you see this label?
Yes. It refers to a company named Condor. What of it?
I traced that company here, to Quaramonte. Do you know where I can find the offices of Condor Transglobal?
The company no longer exists. They went bankrupt recently.
Interesting.
I have proof that you are directly involved with Condor.
I used them as shippers to transport artifacts to a gallery in Paris. Beyond that, I have no connection with the company, which, as I said, no longer exists.
Take a look at this, Professor. What have you got to say about that?
Where did you get this?
Never mind that. How do you explain these withdrawals?
I left my financial affairs in the hands of my secretary.
Including the withdrawal of funds in cash from your personal account?
Yes.
I trust Gwyneth implicitly.
And why Marseille? Why the very place my girlfriend was taken?
That's obvious, Stobart. We are both the victims of the same devious plot.
Interesting.
What plot?
I have no idea.
Do you know anything about this eclipse, Professor?
Of course. It's not the reason I'm here in Quaramonte, but I'm looking forward to seeing it all the same.
Can you identify this statue, Professor?
Oh yes. Tezcatlipoca, the Lord
Another
of
name.
Darkness.
A Central American god, right?
A supreme deity. Tezcatlipoca means literally smoking
Oh,
mirror.
that's coincidence. That's the name of the game, Smoking
See
Mirror.
the mirror shield in his left hand? The Mayans believed he could look into the mirror and see into the hearts of men. He was the wind which came howling in the night in search of victims, and victims they gave him by the thousand.
Human sacrifices?
Men, women, children, animals, anything that bled. The steps of his temple ran red with the blood of sacrifices. The Mayans have a legend that says he'll return.
Mr. Phoenix, are you still there? Can you get your mod hammer out, please?
What's your interest in the eclipse, Professor?
Oh, it's purely a layman's curiosity. History is my subject, not astronomy. But I've been fascinated by the movements of the heavenly bodies since I was a child. I wouldn't miss a total eclipse for the world.
Does the eclipse have some special significance for you?
From me? No. For the ancient Mayans, it marked the end of the Fifth Age.
Perhaps we should be celebrating.
Ah, no. The end of each age heralds destruction on a global scale. The fifth is the final age, ending in the total destruction of
Oh dear.
Tell me about your wife, Professor.
Please, I don't want to talk about her.
Maybe you don't, but I do. Why was she known as the Little Dachshund?
It was just a silly pet name I used to call her. Somehow some damned reporter found out.
Would you like a biscuit?
No, thank you.
You should, they're good. I can't do enough of these things. Can you tell me anything about this stone?
Where did you get that?
That's my business.
How much do you want for it?
It's not for sale. I had nothing else to add. There was nothing else I wanted to talk to Nico about at that time.
Thank you, Mr. Phoenix. Thank you. That's okay. No problem. What are you playing on? What game are you playing on? Let me guess. Is it that Resident Evil game you've been playing a lot of recently? What am I supposed to do now? I don't know. Fairy fence to F. No, you're right. I don't know it. I need to get rid of the general.
Hey, Nico! Do you have a map of Quaramonte?
A map? I'm sorry, senor, but I don't.
What about the one on the wall?
Ah, that is an archaeological survey map, senor. Not suitable for tourists.
I'll be back.
How do I get rid of the general? Could dart him, I suppose. Can I do something with the goat? What am I supposed to do to get the general to out of the office? Anybody got any suggestions? I don't see how any of those items would help get the general out of the office. Talk to her again.
I had no more to talk.
Oh, Ubi is gone.
Did you find any evidence of Condor's drug smuggling operations?
Drugs? Hell no! Condor was a cover for the illegal export of Mayan artifacts.
Interesting.
So who was behind Condor Transglobal?
It was registered in the name of Edan.
Did you get the guy?
I don't think he ever existed. Edan backwards spells Nady, Spanish for nobody.
Do you think the general was involved with Condor?
Hell no. And if he's a general, I'm a Buddhist. No, that fella's just a mouthpiece for the real power in Quaramonte.
So the general is nothing but a puppet?
Interesting.
He's like Pinocchio before he met the Blue Rinse Fairy. Strictly strings and wood.
Who's pulling the strings?
His mother. Better known as La Presidenta, the dictator.
Is Miguel the reason you're here?
Pretty smart, George. I was supposed to make contact with him. By the time I found him, though, he was in jail. I've been trying to figure out a way to get him out since then.
Sounds good to me. Count me in.
Good man, George. All I need is a detonator.
How come you brought a truckload of explosives?
That's a good
for
question.
detonator?
Call me old-fashioned, but I say packing trunks is woman's work. I left the packing to Pearl, and I can't find a darn thing. Just hope she remembered to bring my denture polish. I'd sure hate to arrive back in the States with tar on my teeth.
What can we use as the what does that say now? Okay, we'll go back to it's interesting Nico's not following me now.
Do you have any kind of detonating device in stock?
Sure. They're kept in that cupboard.
I don't suppose you have one spare?
I can't simply give you a device like that, no without a damn good reason.
The general has a chart in his office, which he was discussing with Ubier.
Perhaps that chart will tell us where they're heading.
Maybe, but I can't get anywhere near it while the general and his sidekick are there. I had nothing else to...
Hey!
Okay, now what?
Stay out of that cup.
I had nothing.
Can I show her that?
She wouldn't have been in.
They should get to soak up some rays, yeah.
Could you distract the general while I took a look at that chart?
You're kidding. Did you see the way he was leering at me?
Yeah, you'd make a great sketch. Come on, 5 minutes is all I need.
Well, maybe. But it's your harebrained scheme. You do the talking.
My guess is Nico distracts him, you get the chart. With the chart, what you call her, Conchita will give you the detonator.
There was nothing else. My girlfriend has a favor she wants to ask you, General.
For you, my dear. Anything.
I've changed my mind.
Oh, no, you haven't. She's embarrassed about asking you for an interview, General.
An interview with me? Fabuloso!
Well, I want to write a story about you.
You hear that, Ronaldo? An exclusive glossy spread about your beloved general.
Si, Signor General.
He doesn't
Look
have a
after
bit, doesn't he?
things here. I'm going back to my apartment and I don't want to be disturbed.
I'll get you for this, George Stobart.
Don't worry. If you're gone for more than a couple of hours, I'll come and get you.
A couple of hours?
No, Signor. The General said nobody must see that chart.
He won't know unless you tell him.
You don't know him, Signor. He will worm it out of me as easily as he de-waxes his ear.
Interesting.
Okay. I'd have to get rid of him. I'd still have to figure out how... Would you take my friend to the ruins now the General's gone?
I'd be honored, Signor.
Thanks. I'll go get her.
Oh, you took Pearl to the ruins.
Do you know where I could find...
Did Dwayne put you up to this by any chance? Oh, I get it. This is to detonate the truckload of explosives, right?
Hey, come on, I was kidding. Did you think I was serious?
I know what you boys are like when you get together and make plans. Dwayne says he could solve all the world's problems if he had enough missiles.
I've made the arrangements for your visit to the temple, Pearl.
Oh, that's just great, George. Why don't you come too, honey?
I'd love to, but right now I have to save the world.
Listen, sweetie. I'm looking for an official guide to take me to the old pyramid.
For a lovely lady, I would go to the ends of the earth. For you, I will go as far as the pyramid and back. But what about your husband?
What he doesn't know won't hurt him. Let's go, Beanpole.
As Pearl and Ronaldo set out for the ruined pyramid, I prepared to search the police station.
Right, so at this point, remember how to get to the save thing. That, there we go, save. We're nearly halfway through the game by the looks of it. Right, I'm going to take a very quick break so I need to go to the loo. Let me go to the talk screen, there we go. Just mute the game sound, a bit of music, and I will be right back after this very short break. I am back. Hello, good to bring the game back up. Oh, no, talk screen. And the game. There we go. Right. Adelaide. Oh, I got no game sound. Oh, I muted the game sound, didn't I? Damn it. Talk screen. There we go. Right, let's look at this chart, shall we?
It looked like a geological survey map showing the land to the southeast of Quaramonte City.
Okay.
About 60 miles inland and upstream was an area marked Teoculcan. Uh-oh. Not such a good idea.
Don't know what happened there.
I decided to leave the
It's fact machine, but I can't do anything with that.
A couple of special off. I had no need for junk. The safe was undoubtedly locked. The filing cabinet was
There must be something else I can look at in here. Oh, that's something else I can. So I was wrong, there mustn't be anything I can do at the moment. There we go.
I got a good look at that chart in the police station. It's a map of Quaramonte.
Does it tell us where Ubier is heading?
Yeah, a place called Teoculcan.
That's the site of the mine. I wonder why they're being so secretive about Ubier's plans. One thing's for sure. If the general's involved, they're up to no good. I'd like to talk to that musician Miguel. Take the detonator and get him out of that jail.
And we'll talk to Dwayne, don't we? Go to the other side.
Why don't you want the General at your party?
Because if he comes, he'll bring those damned music albums from the 70s.
Here is the detonator, Dwayne.
Keep your voice down, George. You want everyone to know. You'd best go and warn Miguel that
You
the
never
US
played 2 this
cavalry's
far, so I
on
can't
the
help
way.
Okay.
I didn't know you played 2. I didn't know you played 1. So what did he say there? Oh, you finished 1.
I had nothing else to ask him.
With the guy. Oh, well, that's cheating. Using the guide. I've completed all
There was a
5 buttons
forlorn-looking
again.
guy asleep on the floor of the jail. It was Miguel, the pipe player. Hey, Miguel! He didn't hear me. It was one of the...
What am I supposed to do here?
I had nothing.
Oh, maybe I'm supposed to go around back in and talk to him in the cell, maybe? I forgot about him being in the cell.
Hey, Miguel!
What is it? What is happening?
We're getting out of here.
Who's we? They've sent the Delta Force?
Nope.
The Impossible Missions Force?
Make me sick.
Mission
Much
Impossible.
better.
Who then?
A retired greetings card salesman from Ohio.
I'm doomed.
Forgot he's Uh-oh.
You're not the only one.
I should have known you'd be trouble the moment I saw you.
Look, I can explain everything.
Get in that cell. Now.
And what if I refuse?
He'll shoot you.
Okay, here I am, going quietly into the cell.
It's just 5 minutes, yeah. 5 seconds. 5 minutes? 5 seconds.
Very wise. North Americano scum.
One of the reasons I hate guns so much is the way they make people so damned impolite.
Good choice, George.
I hope you're enjoying your vacation, Senor Stobart.
Ah, go polish your weapon, Ronaldo.
Fair enough. Right, now I'm going to get out the cell.
This was part of your plan, right?
Well, in a manner of speaking, no. I was all out of ideas. It was up to Nico now.
Oh, I forgot in this game you get to play as Nico. I forgot that.
Changed.
I thought I would slip into something more comfortable.
The stench of cheap cologne rolled over me like tear gas.
So, what do you want to know about me? Ask and I will answer. I will deny you nothing. I am a very giving person.
How nice for your friends.
Your eyes are glittering like stars.
His damn cologne was making my eyes water. I was running out of sofa.
As spirited as you are beautiful, I admire that.
As long as he admired it from afar. A lava lamp. Hip in a retro way. I had no doubt the general thought it was hip, full stop. It was General Graciento in full-on lounge lizard mode.
Lounge lizard mode. Oh my. Oh my.
Is that a lava lamp?
Sure, it's more impressive in the dark. I'll close the blinds.
No, no, don't do that. Not on such a beautiful day. Cutting-edge technology in 1978, at any rate. I didn't want to watch a lot of tawdry soap operas. A stuffed swordfish. On close inspection, I noticed that the swordfish was peppered with machine gun bullet holes.
Interesting.
The general was a real sportsman, and no mistake. It was a portrait of some thug in a uniform. I didn't want the picture.
Oh, I just realised what's on this. Yeah, on the.
A tiger skin lay on the floor. The tiger was beyond help. Who's the guy with the hat and the fat cigar?
My mother.
Wow, okay.
Big
This is the El
fish.
Presidento.
Catch it yourself?
Catch it. Fishing poles are for children.
Then how do... Are those bullet holes?
2 magazines on full automatic. It put up quite a fight.
I, love your TV.
Oh yeah, cool, no?
Oh, El Presidento.
What is going on here?
Nothing, Mom. I was...
I'm in uniform. And when I'm in uniform, it's...
Madame la Presidente, sorry, Madame la Presidenta.
Now, what is going on here?
Nothing, Madame la Presidenta. I was just showing my friend Nico some of the cool stuff I've got.
Hi.
Good afternoon, señorita. And just what are your intentions toward my son?
Intentions? We were just talking.
How nice. She has good bone structure, Raoul. Has she any brains?
She's a reporter.
Is she? And what sort of questions has she been asking?
I'm a freelance photojournalist. I do lifestyle features.
For what sort of magazines?
It looks safest to play dummy with good bone structure. Haya, lifestyle
Haya.
of super rich and
Haya.
glorious. Envy magazine.
Excellent. Raoul, you've chosen well for a check.
It was pretty obvious who pulled the strings around here. I hope George was making good use of the time I was buying him.
And then it goes. And when you were in this band of yours, you used to play that song for 2 hours?
Yeah, we were really famous at our college. Still, ours wasn't as good as the original version.
I have never heard that song before, yet I have no doubt that this must be true.
Hey! Psst. Hey, George!
Dwayne Henderson. Boy, am I ever glad to see you. Get to the American consul and tell him I've been in prison without charge.
Get real, George. He was the previous occupant of that cell you're in.
Oh,
We're
dear.
gonna have to use good old American know-how to get you out of there.
Uh-oh.
That, and this truck full of explosives I've got here.
Dwayne, listen to me. You'll kill all of us.
You're such a naysayer,
Oh, dear.
George. It'll go like clockwork.
Oh dear.
Negative to negative, positive to you gotta get the bare copper wire here. Let me just...
Uh-oh, it's that
got-
cop doesn't sound
All right.
reassuring, is it?
Oh, there we go. Okay, just a minute.
No,
I've
serious,
got
not
to get
serious.
to a safe distance.
Quick, Miguel, hit the mattress.
You have strange customs up north.
Here we go.
Too late.
Are we dead yet?
Horse shit.
What happened to the explosives?
There ain't no explosives. My dumbass supplier must have given me organic fertilizer instead of chemical. All I got here is 400 pounds of lightly fried horse apples.
Oh dear.
That's a lovely image, Dwayne. Never mind, I'll think of something.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Solid bars protected the small. I couldn't escape. I can't believe that punk jailed me for no reason at all.
So? It happens.
But I'm a U.S. citizen.
See? That's true. They dare not execute you.
Yeah? Well, that's something.
They'll have to arrange an accident for you instead.
Have you heard of a guy called Karzak?
Yes. The old man spoke of him.
The foreigner? Professor Oubier?
That's right. This man Karzak is Ubier's boss.
Why is that noose hanging from the bars?
So
Ronaldo's
Oubier was
struck enough
lying. He didn't
for
know
me to
Kazakh
hang
was.
myself. Don't cry for me, Senor Stubborn. When I am dead, the goddess will take my soul to rest in paradise.
Listen to me, Miguel. You give me that rope and I'll get us out of here. Is there somewhere you can hide from the General?
Of course. My friends have a boat ready to take me upriver. But how are you going to break out of here with just a short piece of rope?
I'm not sure. But I'll think of something.
If your plan doesn't work, will you let me hang myself in peace?
Yeah, that's
That door looked pretty sturdy to me. It was the lock which held the door fastened. I didn't have the key.
right. So my guess is we've got to attach something to the rope.
Someone had thoughtfully provided little shades for the light bulbs. The rest of the prison area looked like an English public toilet. I couldn't reach the light. I couldn't reach the light.
There must be a reason why it's you can interact with it. Okay, there must be.
There was nothing I wanted to...
There must be something I missed here.
I wasn't convinced that was the right thing to do.
I think I'd have to attach the rope to something, but
That would... I don't think... Not such a... Nope. Wrong. That was... Wrong.
Still. Done that.
I had nothing else. I couldn't escape that. The rope was securely tied to one of the bars. Hey, Dwayne, I want you to tie this rope to your truck and then drive forward. I'd had no idea whether this was really going to work, but I'd seen it in a black and white western. Of course, Hopalong was using a horse, and Dwayne had a 4-ton truck, but hey, the principle's sound.
Anything you say, George.
Please forgive my mother. She can be a little difficult.
Oh, my feet, Raoul. Propose, you idiot.
Don't mind her. She just wants grandchildren.
Don't think I can't hear you, Raoul. I want the worthy successor, and you're not it. Propose now, or I'll do it for you.
Look, Nico, we haven't known each other very long, but... What the hell was that?
I didn't know what was going on, but Georges had to be involved in it somewhere.
I ain't gonna say a thing, 'cause that sweet sound of falling masonry says it all.
Quick, senor. The river.
Huh? Wait, what about Nico?
Georges, what have you done? You only had to sneak a look at the chart, and it's turned into World War III.
It's true.
No time to explain. Come on.
Don't move, terrorist scum. You talking to me, Junior? Yes, I'm talking to you, fat man. And my name's not Junior. A word to the wise, Junior. You carry on waving that pea shooter in my face, and the next person who sees it is gonna be your proctologist. Savvy? General, I am happy to report that I have apprehended the terrorist.
I don't understand why that Dwayne has just drove off.
Not them, the other American and the French woman. They're the ones.
Something got really loud.
When I recovered consciousness, I was alone.
Oh
washed
dear,
up
our
on the
boat got
riverbank.
bombed.
My head was aching fiercely, and my mouth tasted like a swamp. But I followed the sound and discovered a treehouse in a nearby clearing.
Let's see.
The contraption consisted of a crude wooden wheel with wooden slats.
Okay.
That vine rope could be useful. The contraption consisted of the machine was broken.
Everybody else found that music slightly annoying.
It was a length of rope made of twisted and knotted vines. Perfect for a game of poo sticks. It would have been a shame to tamper with the elegant bridge.
It's a bit out of place.
The water wheel had been built to provide a natural source of power. The wheel had a rim of roughly beaten iron. A wooden box was connected to the nearby water wheel. The iron rim of the water wheel would have torn the skin from my fingers if I'd touched it. It seemed to be working just fine. It was a large wooden cross. It was heavy. I guess that was intentional.
Everald, hello sir. Everald, if you do exclamation mark Everald, you will see you now have your own sound effect. And also, Mr. Phoenix, if you're still there, can you give Everald a shout out, please?
There was a vacant look on his cow-like face.
Alright, you've got to do it, Everald, without any other... There you go. Did you hear it? I might have talked over. Do it again. I may have talked over it, hang on. Thank you, Mr. Phoenix. Why is that not working?
There was a vacant look on his cow-like face that said quite clearly, nobody home.
Can you hear it over the music? Probably not, hang on. Right, we'll do that again so you can hear it over the music.
There was a vacant look on his cow-like face that said quite clearly, nobody home.
What do you get that, Everald? That music's really, really annoying.
The stones were too heavy to turn. The leverage from the cross allowed.
How often we get lost tonight? Not a lot. I mean, I've done the Quaramonte City bit. Something alright. How do I get up into the treehouse? Anyone got any ideas?
The stones were too. The leverage from the cross allowed me to turn one of the stones, but the other one remained stationary.
Oh, okay.
Two round stones.
Guess I'm supposed to get up there somehow, but I don't know.
I always wanted a treehouse like that when I was a kid.
Hello? Anyone home?
Right, you're gonna hear me all that music. Oh, hang on. Leaves.
It was a pile of damp leaves.
You see that? Oh, I've got rope, haven't I? I should remember that. I've got rope.
It was a pile of damp leaves.
I have just remembered I have rope. Which I can't use on anyone.
The vine provided a drive belt to connect the two stones.
Oh, nice. Now.
Now I had the contraption working.
What exactly did that contraption do then? So we did all that for nothing. What exactly did the contraption do? Doesn't a bit do anything, does it? That contraption.
It seemed to be working just fine. The iron rim of the water wheel would have torn the skin from my fingers if I touched it.
Okay. Let's see if I do something to that one. Wow.
It was a pile of damp leaves. It was a pile of damp leaves.
Any suggestions? Put on the chat. And I can't get the rope back.
I couldn't see any great benefit in sharpening the cross. It seemed to be working just fine.
Look at this. Fire might attract their attention. How on earth do I start a fire?
Two round stones were carefully balanced on a wooden structure.
Sticking something in the pump, but I don't know what. There's nothing else to interact with.
Was broken. It would have been a shame to tamper with the elegant bridge. Perfect for a game of poo sticks.
Okay, I'm gonna give him the hint. Last 10 minutes. Oh, I've never guessed that.
I placed the bank statement over the damp leaves.
Nothing's happening. Did I put it over the... Oh, I like it.
As I held the fetish to the iron rim of the wheel, a shower of sparks.
I would never have
cascaded
guessed to
onto
do
the
that in a
leaves.
million years.
Quick, man! Put out that fire! I've got a sick woman up here.
Sorry, Father, but I needed to attract your attention.
Who's coming down?
Who are you? And what do you want?
My name is Stobart, George Stobart.
I'm Father Hubert. I don't suppose you speak French.
Huh? Why do you want to know that?
I found a young woman with a fever by the river this morning. The poor girl is close to death.
Could that be Nico?
And there's nothing I can do for her but pray. I don't understand her, but I think she's speaking French.
Hang on. That must be Nico. What are you doing out here in the jungle?
God's work. Not quite the destination I had in mind when I set out, but you know what they say? Mysterious ways and so on.
You didn't plan to end up here?
No. I was on my way to the miners' camp in the north. I was stuck here when my boat capsized on the river.
That's exactly what happened to me. How long have you been here?
11 years.
11 years.
That's my girlfriend who got in your treehouse. What's the matter with her?
She's been bitten by a venomous river snake.
But can't you do something for her? There's a cure, isn't there?
I ran out of penicillin and morphine years ago, but the local people speak of a root which they believe will counteract the poison.
Where can I find this root?
I don't know, but maybe the shaman of the village can tell us.
Will you show me the way to the village?
Me? Oh, but I can't.
Can't? Nico's life depends on it.
You're right. Of course I should, despite my own guilt and shame. But I can't go as a representative of God with a creased collar.
A creased collar? You mean you put your personal attire higher than the life of a sick woman?
I will not go to that village looking anything but my best.
Give me your collar. I'm sure I can find a way to press it.
Thank you, my son. In the meantime, I must contemplate my sermon.
There was obviously more than a
Seriously.
creased collar bothering the priest.
I know exactly what we do with this. We put it in the press. Seriously, yeah.
So there I was, hundreds of miles from civilization, doing the housework for a priest. It's a strange world.
Sure, we're gonna pick up the cross. Put the cross in press.
press worked surprisingly well on the collar.
Him again.
Here's your collar, Father.
Thank you, George. You'd probably think it a little odd of me to make such a fuss.
Oh no. If I'd been living in the jungle for 11 years, I'd be completely screwy too.
Yes, perhaps I am. Ever since my last visit to that village.
Do you want to tell me what happened at the village?
I forgot my vows. I let myself be overwhelmed by the beauty of this unspoiled paradise, and in a moment of weakness, animal passion reared its rampant head.
You know, you should be writing romantic novels. Did you experience some kind of a physical liaison at the village?
Yes, I'm ashamed to admit it, but I found myself doing the monkey dance.
Monkey dance. Aye, aye, aye.
I've heard it called that before,
Aye, aye, aye.
and I didn't want to pry any deeper into Hubert's murky past. Now you've got your collar back. Will you take me to the village?
I've still not finished my sermon.
Look, Father, I still don't know why you're so reluctant to visit that village, and it's none of my business. Whatever the reason, it can't be more important than saving Nico's life.
You're right. I must be crazy. We must make haste if we're to reach the village before nightfall.
By the time we reached the village, it was sunset.
Hello, boys. Glad to see you're still wearing the underpants. What?
They're the best Christmas present we ever had, Father. Mine are too tight.
Well, we all have our cross to bear. This is George. He has a request to make. I'm afraid I can't stay. Good luck, George.
Interesting.
That's a relief. I never feel comfortable with him about. Me neither.
These damn pants keep riding right up my butt.
So, what do you want?
They don't sound like Aboriginals, do they?
My girlfriend has been bitten by a snake.
So, everyone in my family has been bitten by snakes.
I was bitten by a dormouse once.
She's real sick. I hoped your wise man might have medicine.
Wise man? You must have the wrong village.
Father Hubert said there was a wise man in the village who could help me.
Ooh, he must mean the old man, the shaman.
Are you going to stand by and let my girlfriend die?
Of course not. What do you think we are, savages?
We'll start the preparations for a cremation feast.
I'd like to see the shaman, please.
You can't just go walking in there and demand to speak to the shaman.
Why not?
You have to observe the protocol. The shaman demands tribute.
Tribute? You mean like a gift?
That's right.
The eternal question. What do you give a man who has everything? Give me a clue. What kind of things does your shaman like? Does he have a hobby, a favorite sport?
You insult us. The shaman lives on a higher plane.
Interesting.
Oh, right. Maybe a book would be more suitable. Or a jigsaw puzzle? Don't you just hate choosing presents for people you don't know? Here, he'll like these biscuits.
If you say so. He liked the biscuits, especially the black ones. He wants to know if you've any more.
There wasn't much point in sending... This cone could have 1,000 uses.
Yeah? Like what?
A protective helmet?
I don't think so.
Would your wise man have any use for lipstick?
Not in that color.
Haven't you anything in black?
Of course I don't. Look, I know it's not much, but I want your shaman to have this.
Do you expect him to eat that?
He's an old man, you know. He might choke.
You really don't sound like Aborigines, does it?
This stone is what brought me here.
That's a spirit stone. I wouldn't touch it if I was you.
You're right. It could be cursed.
There wasn't much point in... There wasn't much point in sending the empty box back to the shaman.
So what am I supposed to do now?
Stop.
The box was completely empty. I didn't think the Indians would...
You can't go in there.
I'm confused now. I like the biscuits, but he wasn't let me in. What? Just into the biscuit.
The cone was too... I dropped the tequila worm into the empty box. Here, I found some more of those biscuits for the shaman.
I'll give them to him. He didn't want the little worm. He's a vegetarian.
Back to square one. Right, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick break while I get a drink. I'll be right back. Right, I'm back. I have topped my glass up.
I dropped the poison dart into the box with just a little itch of misgiving. Here, I found some more of those biscuits for the shaman.
I'll give them to him.
See if this works.
It didn't work.
What?
Your feeble attempt to assassinate the shaman by concealing a dart within this box.
There wasn't much point. I put the Mayan stone in the empty box.
Try that, I guess.
Here, I found some more of those biscuits for the shaman.
I'll give them to him.
Even though I give you a poison dart before, you still happy to take stuff off me. You give it to him. Okay, fair enough.
The shaman wants to talk to you.
I hoped he would. Well, it's been nice to talk to you guys. That woman certainly wasn't the reason I'd come to the village. The woman was grinding a sticky mess of corn in a bowl. The man was busily weaving a cloth. That man was... The old guy was obviously the shaman of these people. Hi, my name's George Stobart.
Please, sit down. Welcome, George.
Thanks.
It has long been foretold that a white man would bring the Coyote Stone to this village.
My girlfriend's been bitten by a snake.
And you want me to heal her?
That's the idea. Can you do it?
I'm not sure. My gums aren't what they used to be.
Listen, my girlfriend's in a coma. Please, old man, give me the
Yeah,
root.
What root?
Father Hubert told me of a root which could cure the bite of the river snake.
There's nothing sacred with these people. That was our secret, known only to members of my tribe.
Oh,
If that
interesting.
root is my chance of saving Nico's life, then I want it. Fast.
There is time yet, George Stobart. Time to learn why you were called here.
Fine. If I listen to your story, then will you give me the root?
The eel travels far, but still returns to the place of his spawning.
Interesting.
And look, I'm running a tight schedule, so can you skip the riddles?
Many years ago, when the
Okay.
world was young, the great god and king Quetzalcoatl was defeated by trickery and deceit. His enemy Tezcatlipoca took his place as leader and demanded terrible human sacrifices. A group of loyal priests found a way to trap Tezcatlipoca. But his powers were so great, they knew he would not remain trapped forever. His time of incarceration would end with the eclipse, which marked the close of the Fifth Age. So the priests fashioned 3 obsidian stones which contained the power to seal the mirror. for all time. But before the stones could be put in place, they were seized by the invading Spanish.
But how did they trap Tez, the evil god?
They built a pyramid which they told Tezcatlipoca was dedicated to him. At its center, they fashioned a huge mirror of perfectly smooth obsidian. Luring him into the pyramid with praise and flattery, they used sorcery to ensnare him in the mirror.
There's an eclipse of the sun due very soon, isn't there?
Correct. The eclipse which marks the ending of the fifth
Yeah, we
age
read
will
about
come
this
before
before.
the next full moon.
Less than
Maybe.
2 weeks. I didn't really believe that Tezcatlipoca would return, but I figured Karzak's plans were in some way connected. Why is Father Hubert so reluctant to visit the village?
I don't know. He used to come here a lot, but then he just stopped. You'd think he'd want to spend some time with his kids.
Did you say Father Hubert has
Kids.
3 girls and 5 boys by my reckoning. All conceived in the same week at the Feast of the Monkey Dance.
What happened to the stones?
They were taken by the Spanish to the coastal town that is now called Quaramonte City. Only 1 stone reached Spain. The other 2 fell into the hands of buccaneers. The Jaguar Stone was captured by an English captain, El Draco. The Eagle Stone was taken by a pirate called Ketch. The 3rd stone, the Coyote Stone, reached Spain safely. That is the stone in your possession.
Tell me more about the Jaguar Stone.
Many centuries ago, the port of Quaramonte was entered by a ship flying Spanish colors. The captain, the man known as El Draco, sent soldiers ashore. Only when the soldiers arrested the mayor did the people realize that they were English privateers. The mayor was held hostage while the soldiers looted and plundered the city. Amongst the treasures they stole was the Jaguar Stone.
Where is the Jaguar Stone now?
Interesting.
I suppose El Draco took it back to his homeland, across the Great Sea.
To England. Tell me more about the Eagle Stone.
The stone was loaded onto a galleon with many valuable
So we could find the different
plundered by
stones, you think?
But shortly after leaving harbor,
I can't remember much about this game.
blew up and damaged the ship. The ship was intercepted by a bloodthirsty pirate, Captain Ketch. Ketch made short work of overpowering the crew, stealing the treasure, and sinking the Spanish ship.
Where's the Eagle Stone now?
Nobody knows for sure. Ketch retired from piracy and bought an island in the Caribbean.
What do I do when I find the stones?
Bring them here to me and I shall prepare you. The stones must be taken to the heart of the pyramid. Only there can they be used to seal the gate by which Tezcatlipoca will return to this world.
Suppose I was to believe there was anything in your story, other than the rambling delusions of a seriously wacky old man. Suppose I was to swallow it, hook, line, and kitchen sink. What then?
Then you would see that the fate of the human race rests upon your shoulders.
Can you show me the way to the pyramid of Tezcatlipoca?
Not until you possess all 3 stones.
Do I get anything to help me combat Tezcatlipoca?
Like what?
Well, a magical weapon?
Get real, George.
I don't suppose this would be any use to you.
It sure would. This wax on a stick will change our lives.
What do you want it for?
To decorate our bodies for the monkey dance.
Now do I get the root?
Here, take it. Make haste if you wish to save the girl's life. The hummingbird sings to me of death to come.
Now you're talking in riddles again. Listen, is it okay if I crash here? I've got no chance of finding my way through the jungle in the dark.
You're welcome, but you probably won't get much sleep. Tonight's the night of the monkey dance.
Oh no. A little later.
I left the village at dawn and stumbled back through the jungle in a post-party daze. It was just like sneaking back to my parents' house when I was younger.
There is
Except
Bucky, yeah.
Oakland didn't have monkeys or parrots.
Here's a question. How did he manage to get that massive organ out of the sea when the ship crashed and drive that land and up into the treehouse?
I've got the route, Hubert.
So what are you waiting for? Give it to the gal.
Right. The shaman thinks you should go visit your kids.
So, he told you?
Look, Hubert, having an extended family is nothing to be ashamed of. If I was you, I'd be ashamed of not being there for them.
It was that damned monkey dance that led me astray.
Yeah. A sight like that must be difficult to forget. Nico, I've brought you this root.
Oh.
No way was she going to be able to chew the root. I needed to give her the antidote in a more digestible form. I wondered what Hubert had used to make his candles. I didn't have any use for Hubert's candles. It was a water jug. I couldn't steal from a priest. There was nothing else I wanted to ask him.
Can we put it through the press, do you think? Is that the answer?
It was the root which would cure Nico's snakebite. The juice from the root was soaking into the ground.
I need something to put the juice in.
The cone was ideal as a makeshift container. As the liquid was squeezed from the root, it collected in the cone.
Well, that works well, doesn't it? Cool.
The cone contained Look, Hubert, the antidote.
What are you waiting for? Give it to the girl, quickly.
There we go, she did the trick.
Nico. Here, drink this.
Oh, George. It's horrible.
Just swallow it down. Okay, try and rest now, darling. You'll need all your strength when we go after the other two stones.
Other stones? What other stones? What have you gotten me into now, stomach?
Yeah.
The patient is sounding more like her old self already. Nico recovered quickly from her fever. To save time, we decided to split up and look for each stone independently. I traced the pirate Ketch to a remote island in the Caribbean. With the fortune he'd amassed from piracy, he'd retired to a place that was later called Ketch's Landing.
Interesting. We're over halfway now.
It looked like a set of plans. It looked like a set of plans.
Anything else to interact with or pick up, is it? No?
Hi, is this Ketch's Landing?
Yeah, that's right.
My name's George Stobart. You're a surveyor, right, Mr.
Bronson. And of course I'm a surveyor. Why the hell else would I have a theodolite?
I don't know. Hobby, maybe?
Yeah, right. What brings you here, anyway?
I'm searching for an ancient Mayan artifact.
What is it? Some kind of jewel?
No, it's obsidian. A black stone with supposedly mystic powers.
You're nuts.
This is similar to the stone I'm looking for.
What makes you think you'll find it here?
Because when the stones were stolen in the 17th century...
Hold it! The stones have been lost for 300 years?
Approximately.
And you're hoping to find them again? You're nuts. And why here?
Yeah.
A wise old Indian shaman told me he saw the stones in a vision.
Ha ha. That's rich. Listen, I got work to do, okay?
Look at this. An article about a total eclipse of the sun.
Oh, yeah? Listen, I don't want to be rude, but it just comes natural. I really don't care.
Catch you later, Bronson.
See if he goes back over to his tripod thing.
I just had to sneak a look at those plans.
Hey, get out of there.
You know, wherever I go, I hear those words. Paris, Syria, Ireland, or Spain. Makes no difference.
What do you think you're doing?
I was trying to show some interest in your project. I had no more to talk to him about.
I'm not supposed to. What's your boy on the pier? Can we tell this has been hand drawn? Particularly on this level.
The kid looked about 11 or 12. He was fishing with the intense concentration of someone who had all the time in the world.
You want to buy some fish?
Nah, I don't like fish. What's your name?
Rio. It means river. What about you?
George. It means, well, it's just a name. Is it true that Captain Ketch lived around here?
That's right. That's his house up on the hill. It's a museum now.
Yeah?
Interesting.
That's exactly what I need. Thanks, kid.
You won't get inside, you know. The old ladies close it down.
What do you know about Captain Ketch?
Just what everybody knows around here. He was a pirate and get himself hung.
No school today?
No, sir.
What about your education?
I can fish, sail, and swim. I've been looking after myself since I was 6, and I'm bilingual.
Aren't you a little overqualified for a beach bum?
Well, you know, there's a lot of competition.
Who are these old ladies you mentioned?
Miss Frost and Miss Mina Ketch.
How come the old ladies closed the museum?
It's Bronson's doing. Him have the plans for redeveloping the museum. They're going to regret it, you know. The man's a crook.
Okay.
Will you help me get those plans?
I don't want to go nowhere near that man. He promised to draw me when he found the fish I left in his sleeping bag.
Do you know anything about pirate treasure?
Man, that's all stories. There's no such thing as a real pirate treasure.
Do you know anything about a
Yeah,
forthcoming
something like that.
eclipse?
No, but that explains why the weather's about to get real bad.
Rio, it's a beautiful day.
Oops, I pressed the
There's no
wrong
more than a
button.
whisker of cloud in the sky.
Trust me, man, it's going to get real bad.
We could give the boy the worm to help with his fishing.
What you got there?
I didn't think the kid would be interested in that. A cute little putty tat.
Now I vaguely remember this.
Actually, no. It was a mangy old flea bag.
I vaguely
It was
remember this
busily
bit.
torturing a red ball.
Gotta do some with the flagpoles.
The flagpole had some sort of technical gadget on the end. It was a flagpole, one of a pair. It was a sturdy, extendable ladder. It was an old house. It was locked.
The house is closed.
How come?
It is undergoing refurbishment.
Refurbishment? Where are the workmen?
Preparation is half the work, young man. The intention is to prepare the museum for the new century.
The Frederick Ketch Memorial Museum. It would look
Okay.
nice in neon.
A museum for a pirate? There was a stony silence.
Frederick Ketch was emphatically not a pirate. It's precisely this sort of vile misrepresentation that Mr. Bronson is seeking to rebalance.
Oh? How?
Mr. Bronson has kindly agreed to undertake the museum's refurbishment at a very reasonable price. He understands the importance of a sense of history.
Funny. That's not the impression I got of Bronson at all.
He also understands spherical geometry.
Mina?
Well, he does.
Listen, ma'am. I came a long way to visit this place.
If we make an exception in your case, everyone will want to get in.
Pardon me, but I didn't exactly have to fight my way through the crowds.
You're the second visitor we've had today.
No, I'm sorry, but it's impossible.
The ladder extended easily.
You there? What are you doing?
Pardon me, ladies. I was just going to climb your ladder. I'm helping Bronson.
Oh, you're not like him, are you? He's very polite, isn't he, Frost? And he has dimples when he smiles.
Get down!
Sorry. Hi, my name's George Stobart.
Good afternoon, Mr. Stobart. Would you care for tea?
No, thank you, ma'am. I don't like tea. Is that your cat?
Yes, it is.
That's Ruddles.
Do you like cats, Mr. Stobart?
I love them. They're so cute with their claws and their little puckered butts.
Aren't they, though?
Don't encourage him, Mina.
You're really fond of that cat, aren't you?
He is our companion and our solace.
I thought about catnapping the little monster until they let me in, but it wasn't my style. Maybe there was some other way I could use their affection for the cat to get me into the house.
My guess would be to get.
Can you tell me
Get the
anything
cat
about
run off.
Captain Ketch?
More than you can tell me about your great-great-great-great-grandfather, no doubt.
You're his descendants?
Certainly. Captain Ketch was born in Dorset, England, in the reign of King Henry VIII. His family were undistinguished farmers, but young Frederick Ketch decided to go to sea.
We have plenty of seamen in our family, Mr. Stobart.
Are you interested in history, Mr. Stobart?
Yes, I am. You were telling me about Captain Ketch. Do go on.
Oh, yes. He sailed under Hawkins.
Jim Hawkins?
John Hawkins,
Jim
one of the
Hawkins.
great traders of the Elizabethan age. In 1568, Frederick Ketch was a young man serving aboard the Jesus, Hawkins' flagship. They sailed from England to Africa and across the wide Atlantic to these islands. Ketch was never to see the shores of England again.
How come Ketch never made it home?
Because the Spaniards sank the Jesus in an act of treachery.
You said Hawkins' fleet traded between Africa and the Indies. What was it they were trading?
Black men with no shirts.
You have to understand, Mr. Stobart, that this
slaves.
was the
They were
16th
chained
century.
slaves.
But that doesn't alter the fact that Hawkins and Ketch were slavers and pirates.
Would it surprise you to learn that Hawkins was also a devoutly religious man?
He transported slaves in a ship named after Jesus Christ. In my book, that makes him a hypocrite. What happened to Ketch? Was he killed?
Oh no, he got away and returned to this island, to this very house.
The Frederick Ketch Memorial Museum.
Frederick Ketch sounds like he was a pirate to me.
As I have already told you, sir, he was not a pirate.
They hanged him, you know, down there on the beach in front of his family. Didn't bother with a trial, just whipped him out from his breakfast table and hoisted him up in chains.
Oh dear.
I've been talking to Rio, the little fisher boy.
I'll thank you not to mention that little wretch in my presence.
Dirty little whelk. Nasty fishy boy.
That will do, Mina.
I gather you don't have much time for the little boy.
That child is a delinquent, Mr. Stobart.
Yeah, well, he's only, what, 11, maybe?
A knave with one hand on the tops.
What is it about Rio that you don't like, Miss Frost?
Well, once upon a time, he and Emily...
Be quiet this instant, Mina.
What can you tell me about Emily?
Emily? What business can she be of yours?
Her parents were killed in a typhoon.
We, as her only living relatives, took it upon ourselves to raise the child.
It's good to know Charity isn't dead.
Oh, but she is. Washed overboard in the typhoon.
Mr. Stobart wasn't talking about Emily's mother. He was being sarcastic.
This is true.
What else can you tell me about Emily?
How dare you pry into our family in this way? I refuse to answer any...
Okay, it was time for diversionary tactics. I thought I saw a little girl down on the beach.
You must be mistaken.
He must be mistaken. Mustn't he, Frost?
I'm sure I'm not. A little girl and that young fisher boy.
What? It's not possible. What were they doing?
Oh, the kinds of things that all little boys and girls get up to at their age.
When I was a little girl, we used to play cows and milkmaids.
Well betide you if you're lying to us, Mr. Stobart. Heaven help you.
With a creak of ancient corsetry, the sisters sailed majestically over the distant horizon.
Right.
It was the old house. It was locked.
He's still stuck. No, I'm not stuck. Got the ladder.
I didn't have a flag on me, so the flagpole would have to stay bare.
He was that normal logic off, doesn't work. Yeah.
I couldn't reach the flagpole, and a bush stopped me from moving the ladder across. Nah.
Don't appear to have anything else. Well, what is normal logic anyway? That's a very good point. Right. I think this may be a good point to end things. Let me just save. 56%. Let's go back to the talk screen. Just click the game. Let's bring up some music. Right, yeah, so we've done quite a bit this evening. Shall we do a raid? Yeah, so just a quick word about next week's schedule. So everything will be different next week. So I'll be back on Tuesday night. I'm going to continue the NES, the 25 underrated NES games. We did 6 last week, so we'll continue that. Hopefully I'll get like 9 done, and then the week after we can do the top 10. Wednesday stream is going to be probably an afternoon stream this week, because I'll go for my Summer Zeros doing 24-hour stream on Wednesday, so I'd like to watch sort of the beginning of that. And then Thursday I'm probably not going to stream because actually what I might do, I'll tell you what I might do. Wednesday evening I might start at a slightly later time of about 7 o'clock, so I can watch the first hour or so of VOD stream. So Wednesday night from 7 I will stream probably this again, and then I don't think I'll stream Thursday, and then actually I can't. Right, I tell you what, I've just remembered I've got to do the Worms Awesome League this month. So Tuesday night will be the NES 25 thing. Wednesday 7 will be the Worms Awesome League, and then Thursday evening maybe we'll do we'll continue on with this episode, and then Friday I don't know what's happening on Friday because I need to speak to Mr. White Phoenix about if we want to do another game on Parsec, and whether it's him hosting it or me, because if it's him hosting it, what we'd like to do, then he'll have to stream. So I may do like an afternoon show on the Friday before on his stream, maybe. We shall see. But I shall update you on the Discord. Speaking of Discord, there's the link. Go join that if you wish to. So also follow me on Twitch if you haven't. There's YouTube. Subscribe to that. Every Monday I upload some new record videos called Odd Bite. Although I didn't do one this week, so next week there will be 2. Let's subscribe to that and you'll get a notification every time one appears. That I think is everything I needed to say. I think I forgot to mention that last time. But I will be back, as I say, Tuesday, continuing the top 25 and doing the next games list. That is this Tuesday. And that's it. I'll tell you what I'm going to do just quickly. Because I'll pause music a second. Listen, we'll hear every old sound effect without any.
There was a vacant look on his cow-like face that said quite clearly, "Nobody home."
Except I just talked over it. I'll do it again.
There was a vacant look on his cow-like face that said quite clearly, "Nobody home."
There we go. So you could hear it without any background noise. Right. And that's it. Right. We're going to raid off. Let's see who's on, shall we? The only person on is obviously we're doing Destiny 2. I think this is a community day thing on a Saturday, isn't it? So shall we raid off to Mr. Rama Zero? I say I back on Tuesday. Join us then if you can. Until then, let's get the end screen, shall we? Stay safe and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good night. And we'll raid off.